It breaks my heart to see the unintended suffering that's caused by some ideas that are supposed to direct you to the absence of suffering. In this episode, I answer a question about karma and address the unnecessary fear and suffering that comes from a very popular spiritual idea. Prepare yourself for some 21st century heresy, a little colourful language, and if you've ever found yourself beating yourself up or caught in a bind on the back of some spiritual ideal, then prepare for some genuine freedom. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Be a Brilliant Human podcast with me, Joel Young. If you're looking to improve your life, to heal, to grow, and mature as an individual, but maybe you found that some of the personal development and consciousness stuff has given you the impression that you need to be super serious and vigilant to get anywhere meaningful, or feeling like maybe you're just not up to snuff, well, this show is here to remind you of your humanity, and in fact that's where your true joy and brilliance lies. With over 25 years of experience in the transformation biz and having developed MPA, one of the world's simplest, pressure-free approaches to growth and well-being, if I do say so myself, I'll be sharing tips, steps, and insights that'll help you navigate all the aspects of life as a growth-seeking being. On this show, it comes to you with a good dose of humour, maybe a smattering of colourful language, a reminder not to take things so personally, and most importantly, to be kind to yourself along the way. Make sure you hit that follow button, and let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to the Be a Brilliant Human podcast with me, Joel Young. I'm delighted that you're here. We are at episode number 135. Which means that you can go find the show notes at www.beabrillianthuman.com/135. And it means there's 134 previous episodes to go binge listen to if you're so inclined. So a couple of things. This is going to be a shorter than usual episode. I created this video this week. It came as a recorded conversation as part of our MPA community. I was asked a question about karma, and the reason I wanted to share this, I think it's very important because it points to, well, the topic of karma and how that impacts the person who's asking it is clearly suffering from an idea that comes out of the sort of modern spiritual ideas that we see, although karma is an ancient one. The idea of getting rid of your ego, getting rid of your ego, we talk about that in the video, getting rid of your karma so that you don't end up having a horrible next life. And what I found is it creates a lot of suffering. It's not exclusive to the idea of karma. The principles that I talk about in this episode are pertinent to many of the ideas that you can come across in today's sort of modern spiritual culture, I would say. So I felt it was important to say the video itself is something I put on Facebook earlier this week. In the show notes, I'll link directly to that if you want to watch the video directly. Also, as ever, if you listen to this on a podcast and you want to see the visuals, they'll be on the YouTube version of this episode, so you can go ahead and check that out as well. Otherwise, I think that's it. I'm going to dive in. Oh, one more announcement before we go any further, which is that next week there won't be a podcast. I'll be away on retreat. So we're going to skip next week and I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. So here we go. Here's the conversation. Why striving to rid yourself of karma is a fool's game. Let's get into it.
So just tell me, in 2 quick sentences about karma, how much of it, because I mean, my whole family is involved in the same thing. And if I decide to disappear off from this world, am I going to meet it all again some other time in another life? Because that's what my fear is, that I'd rather get rid of it this time than have to go through the whole business of being a child and all that jazz. No, I had a perfectly happy childhood.
I think there's a time when I really, really subscribed to that idea. I don't think I do anymore, not in the same way. I absolutely believe that the consciousness that shows up as us can show up as other people in future lives, and there are certain things that are part of that. But you're never going to be Joanna again. I'm never
No,
going to be
but
Joel again.
oh, that I understand. But
So,
it's the sort of the way it has unfolded in this life. It's going to be something different, but unfolding in a different way somehow next time.
so I think that happens regardless of the personality. There's if you come from it from a space of what is in charge of creating everything is bigger than our personal selves. We just do our part. If you start taking personal responsibility for all the lives down the line, that's hard work. Which probably then generates the very same karma if that's the case. If you go, okay, there's good reasons to improve your life, to look at patterns, that's a wonderful thing. And all of us here on this call have spent a large part of our life doing that with benefits to us in different ways. But if you make it a cross to bear or a burden, that's the very definition of the karma you're trying to get rid of.
Oh, that's interesting.
So how about you just have fun? It's like it's cut straight to the end game. and I think the ultimate truth, as best as I know it, is we don't know. That's why I always go back to one of my favorite lines, which is nobody knows nothing.
I like that.
In which case, all we have is our story. And if all we have is our story, then pick a good one. Pick one that works for you. If the karma story of next lifetimes feels like a burden and doesn't fill you with the things that are your innate, beautiful, free self, then pick a different story. So that's my latest view on the whole karma, many lives topic. There's a lot of things like Chris, you mentioned the non-dual stuff. It's like I was well into that. Can't be arsed with it anymore.
Can't be arsed. That sounds familiar.
but it's not. I don't want to dismiss because I got a lot from subjecting myself to that idea. It was a good crucible, and I wouldn't be who I am today without it. But I think I reached a point where it's like, it's that humanity thing. It's like getting rid of the ego. It's like non-duality is non-existence. So, well, then why don't I just make the best of existence? Enjoy the humanity. Hence, the podcast is be a brilliant human very deliberately. It's not being an enlightened master. You've been around enlightened masters, Chris. You know the truth of it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
You get that's why I say, you can't, the whole like going back to getting rid of stuff. You can't get rid of your ego. You can't. No. So what do? You continue to bash away in this pie in the sky, pain causing idea of getting rid of the ego? Or do you go, let's make friends, ego? Let's work together to get the best out of this life. There's bits of you that are all right. There's bits of you that are a bit shit. It's like being in a relationship. Look for the perfect partner who's absolutely perfect. Good luck with that, mate. There's bits of you that I really like, and there's bits that are a bit shit. So I'll have the odd stinky day because you're being in your shit self. Same with ourselves. Then you got a chance of relaxing and saying, well, how can I help on the shit days? Maybe I'll get out of the way. Or maybe, maybe you need a cuddle on a shit day. What do you need? Same with the ego. What do you need? I just need to know I'm going to be safe. All right. Well, sorry, but I can give you a cuddle. Do you know what I mean? But it's for me, the difference is like, that's why with the multiple perspectives model in MPA is like, I don't call it the ego, I call it personality. And I say you can polish your personality. You can't get rid of it. What happens when you try and get rid of the personality or the ego? It resists. It goes, fuck you. And then kicks up a fuss and fights. If you go, like my thing about the puppy, it's like a puppy. Kick a puppy, it's going to grow up to be a really nasty dog. I'm going to kill you, you're bad, you're the ego. If you go, all right, puppy, yeah, stop chewing the carpet, that annoys me, but I love you anyway. Come on, have a bone. Different world. It's one of the core things with non-personal awareness is shift your relationship to stuff. You can't get rid of, and from an energetic perspective, you can't get rid of anything anyway. Pure basic quantum physics. You can shift your relationship to it, and it can show up in different forms, but the energy is energy. Who you are is a consistent energy with different expressions in different times and a certain apparent consistency. So know thyself is like, well, here's my flaws, here's my good stuff. That's always an ongoing discovery. Some of the flaws, if I shift my relationship to it, seem to become less bothersome for other people and myself. And the less bothersome they become, the less they matter anyway. And I can focus on the things that I love and like and have a nice time. That's my view.
Well, that's very interesting. I've been taking notes. Thank you. That's a major class in NPA in 2 minutes.
2 minute, quick fix, quick stop. Sort your life out. You're welcome.
Thanks so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this show, I'd love you to do me a solid and tell someone about it. They can find us on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and most other podcast platforms. Plus, if you visit the website www.beabrillianthuman.com, you can share the show notes to social media and make my day. Also, make sure you hit that follow button, and if you haven't yet downloaded the MPA process sheet, head on over to joelyoungmpa.com and get your free copy today. Big love, and see you next time.